Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis, and in this video we're going to install Obarun Linux, Obarun OS, and on their homepage here it says Arch Linux based system without SystemD. If you look them up on DistroWatch, you'll see their country of origin is Switzerland, and it's based on Arch. Click on their homepage, that's where we just was. It'll tell you some about them there. Here's their download link. And it'll tell you right up front, here's the login words. The root login is root password is tour, user login is oblive or oblieve, and tour. And here's where you get your download. Click on either one of these. This is the minimal flavor with the JWM desktop or minimal desktop, I believe, and it will go right into the installer when you boot up to it. This one, however, will start up a desktop environment. You can choose your desktop there. Here's the Obarun Wiki. Tells you again, login, root, and password. Tells you how to there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of links. You can see I've done a little bit here. It tells you about the installation. Here you'll see this in my little slideshow I'm going to present. Let's see, software, they use the 66 and 66 tools and the S6, and this is a link. I'll make sure this gets in the description below. It lets you read a little bit about what maintains them, what sets Obarun OS different from Arch Linux is the init system, and they use S6 or 66. Here's an overview of Obarun OS. Tells you it comes in these different Windows managers and desktops, XFCE4 and KDE Plasma, and for the window managers, OpenBox and JWM. I found this really interesting post here on their forum. Now, I know it was dated in 2019, but it's still pertinent today. It says, welcome to Obarun, and it tells you about the S6 system, that there are 66 tools that they're using, and how to enable or disable services. And that will lead you here, and it'll give you a lot more information on commands and how to do this and do that with the services using 66. So let me minimize this. What I've done is I went through the install. Oops, wrong button. I went through the install and set it up in my VirtualBox, and I took snapshots and a small video of the installation itself. Now, it's got 2 cores in my processor, and I did not enable the EFI. It would install, but the bootloader, I couldn't get it to boot using UEFI mode. So I went to the BIOS mode, and there may be something I'm doing wrong, or I don't know. I'm not sure. I tried several times, even on real hardware, and I couldn't I could go through the installation perfectly, but I could not reboot. Anyway, so I've give these the clone here. This is the one that you're fixing to see get installed. The one I got marked for demo is already installed, and I've done some little tweaks in there and stuff, and we'll look around in both of these. And they both have 2 cores in my processor. They're both set up BIOS boot. Video memory is VBox SVGA. Don't use the other one. And I give it 69.5 gig hard drive. When you boot up, this will be the first screen you see. Welcome to Obarun Linux, and powered by S6 and 66. And it tells you right here again. So all over the information pages you'll keep getting this. The root login is root password is tour, user login is oblive, and password is tour. So the password for either one is tour. So here I'm going to log in as Obarun, or Oblive, Obarun Live. And when it boots into this screen, now you'll see I've already set the screen resolution before I took the snapshot. And you can tell that because the screen never did straighten out. But that's immaterial. This is one of their best features right here that, to me, that deserves a little boasting. When you boot into this system, it will immediately open up the network settings and allow you to configure a wired connection, which I'm in a virtual box, and it's thinking it's a wired connection, so that's why you see that's all lit up. But if it was in Wi-Fi, you just click on Wi-Fi and then enter your settings there, and it'll tell you I'm trying to click on stuff. So anyway, I close out of that. The installer's right here. You double click it. Actually, first I want to run a LSBLK just to make sure that it was recognizing my hard drive, and it is. SDA is 69.5 gig hard drive. Then I double click the installer. First thing it's going to do is verify a network connection. It's going to append the keys from the Arch Linux GPGs. Disable the revoked GPG keys. And so we're fixing to boot in. The first screen, do you want to update the Obarun install package? It tells you on the website, absolutely, do not bypass this. It says some functions may not work. Okay, and then the next, when it gets through doing that, it's going to bring you back up to another prompt, wanting you to install the Obarun install theme. Select yes, because it may not work properly if you don't. All right, now here's the main information screen where it's telling you how to navigate around using your space bar to select, tab to go to categories, up and down arrows to go to different positions. All right, first thing you're going to do once you hit enter there is you're going to get your keyboard layout. And for me, it's all the way at the bottom, US English. You select yours. All right, here's what you would call like the main setup menu. And you can see here the path to the mounted disk. Let me make this a little larger. There we go. Path to the mounted disk is /mnt. Correct. We're in BIOS mode. That's correct. Then the next option here is choose a desktop. That's what I'm going to do next. And I'm going to select XFCE. Click OK when you're done. And then we're going to configure the environment, which is one option in here. You're just going to change your editor. It's defaults to MC Edit, I believe, but I selected Nano. You select which one you want to use. Vi is available. All right, and here we're going to select, I selected Nano. That's the other options here that you've got. I'll say next. Ask me for a bootloader. I'm going to say install Grub. This is BIOS boot. Now we're going to partition the disk, and it's assisted preparation or partition by hand. You can know which one I'm going to select. Manual partition, and I'm going to use CF disk to use it. You have the F disk parted and CG disk available as well. And we're going to set a DOS partition label. First options are parts a disk. All right, which disk? SDA, that is correct, 69.5 gigs. Here's the final layout, and you notice probably the most important part here under the boot, it's got the asterisk saying that's the boot. That is SDA 2. All right. Write that out, go to quit, and it'll drop you back in here. We've already done this, so I click done. Oops. I click done. Okay, so now where I'm going to pick up here in the video is formatting the partition. So let me go ahead and hit play. Get in full screen. All right, so we've parted okay. Now we're going to format the partitions. So I'm going to select that. Which partition format? I'm going to format SDA2 using ext4. Now we're going to format SDA3, ext4. You don't format swap, so we're done. And the next option will be mount the partitions. What partition do you want to mount? Well, we're going to mount SDA2 to /mnt. Whoops, I'm sorry, SDA1. We did that to swap first. Now we're going to go /mnt. The next one, SDA3, that's going to be /home. Okay. And we're through mounting. We're through parting, formatting, and mounting the partitions. So we're going to select return here. We're going to select return again. Now it says activate mirror ranking by speed and connection. By default, it says no, but if you hit enter, I selected the worldwide mirrors and it got one that fast. Advanced options. I haven't changed anything in here, but this is what your options will be. And like I said, I didn't do anything in there. So we're ready to install. Click on install. And it's already, it installs ObarunOS first, and then comes back and installs the desktop or window manager of choice. But I want to point out here, one of the things you see coming in right there was Jack. And so they do use Jack. If you're familiar with Jack, and that's a good thing for you right there. I'll point out there, every time I see that word telepathy, I kind of smile and say I'm gonna look that up. Every time I have, it's been actually a positive thing. So here we got 530.84 megabyte download. Get a lot of neat stuff. NTFS-3G, network managers, install themes, all your XFCE stuff. 2.5 gigabytes after it's installed. So I've come back here, went through the install, and we're getting ready to finish up here on the install. Going to give the root user a password. And I believe we're going to set up a user next. So you'll have to repeat the password. Oh yeah, bootloader. We are going to use a bootloader. Should ask me where to put it. And if you'll remember, when we did CFDisk, we made SDA2 bootable. So highlight that and press OK. Do I want to manually edit Grub? No. If I do, I'll do it later. I love this feature as well. It recognizes we're in a VirtualBox. It gives you the option to install the virtual guest edition. Now here we're going to define a host name, which is what your computer will be recognized as on the internet or on a network. Locale was right, but my local time was wrong. So I'm going to go down and find America and Chicago, since that's in the central time zone for me. All right, my new username, we're going to change that. Defaults to Oblive. You'll see in one of the phones there, I left it Oblive. All right, so the keyboard layouts are good. And here's what your options would be if you went into that custom expert or advanced options. But we're going to say apply. And next, I believe we'll be asked for a password for the user. User account password. You'll have to type it twice. And that's it. We're through with this installation. I believe it's fixing to tell us we can reboot. Created all those user groups earlier. System was installed successfully. You can reboot. Now remember, we're not logged in as root. We're only logged in as user. So you'll have to use sudo. And we're going to say sudo shutdown space -H for halt space -P for power, and do it now. It's going to ask for a password, and we'll remove the ISO as soon as it gets through rebooting here. All right. All right, so bring up my VirtualBox. Here's the one we just installed, or we just seen it being installed. We'll go ahead and bring it up so you'll see what you'll get. There's Grub. You're going to get by default. I hadn't done anything to this. I did run update. That's only, I say I didn't do anything, and then I say I did. So, all right, login screen. You can tell that's SDDM, Simple Display Desktop Manager. And I did remove that, turn that wallpaper off. I said none. So this is the XFCE desktop. Top there, you got your session menu, the date and time, the clock, notification. If you're on a laptop, you have the battery already installed, the internet, and clip it. Taskbar, you got your applications menu, and you'll see here typical settings there. Accessories, not much. Development, geeky for a graphic. Internet, you get Midori, which does work. I watched the YouTube video. And multimedia. Now here you can see they got some jack options, jack audio options. And so, like I said, you don't really get anything. You get a PDF viewer. Under system, you do get HTOP. See, we're running 323 megs on a fresh boot. Can't say fresh install because I did install it yesterday. This is it. It's a blank slate at this point, available for you to put anything and everything you want in it. And right now we're running XFCE version 4.16, which is old news. We power this off. And we'll start up the one I've already installed and done some tweaking to. And see, we're in full screen mode, which the resolution will correct itself here. We did get the guest edition. There's our login manager, and I'll point out up here under session, you only have the XFCE session. You only have the English language and the power off and restart button. So I'm going to type in my password and press enter. ObarunOS is still, to this day, I could not find any wallpapers. What a shame, Obarun. I mean, the country of origin is Switzerland. Oh man, I can't imagine some of the beautiful pictures that they could come up with there. Maybe not in today's society or in today's world with what's happening over in that area. But anyway, so this is a virtual box. I keep getting confused. And I got the force shared icon on my desktop, and I just drug it right over after I went up to the devices and enabled the drag and drop and all that. So you can see I've already started customizing. We have the whisker menu. XFCE 4 goodies is available, and that'll bring in your whisker menu, or you can just install the plugin itself. So I got Featherpad, my favorite text editor, simple text editor. File manager, that's Thunar. I got PC Man FM down here. I got OBS Studio. Now I'm gonna open it up. Obviously, let's see. Maybe we can make it capture the screen. Screen capture. Say okay. Say okay, and you can see it works. And Audacity. So we got OBS Studio to create a video. Kdenlive to edit the video. Audacity to do the audio work. Krita to do the thumbnails. GUVC view, KSysGuard. This is a KDE system monitor. See, it'll just say system monitor here. But anyway, and also the Mate system monitor is available, which I actually prefer this one. Shows you your file systems. SDA2, which is root. It is used 6.5 gigs, and I've installed quite a bit of stuff. A couple things I want to point out here. Let's see. Might have to get out of full screen for a second here and get to my notes. I want to make sure that we cover this. Like I said just a while ago, XFCE goodies is available in ObarunOS. Here's all the links that we just looked at, and I'll make sure those get in as titles, probably down at the bottom, and as the show notes as well. Here's their pack ops. Now, if you know what Yay or Trizen or Paru, I think it's called, those are AUR helpers, and without them, you cannot use the AUR. So instead of using a typical AUR helper, they have their own. It's called PackOps. And PackOps is pretty neat. We'll look at the man page here in a second, but I want to show you. See if I can do this. Probably not. Let's see. Maybe. I'll get out of full screen. I'm out of full screen. My resolution should have changed, but it's not. Let's change it. Sorry. Setting. Display. Resolution. Let's make it like 16:9. Apply. They keep it. We're good. Now I can see my desktop as well. Got over there. All right. So PackOps. In this system already, I've installed Etcher by Lena Etcher, which came from the AUR, and SUSE Image Writer. They both work, and here's how you do that. I'm going to demonstrate PackOps. So first thing, PackOps. This is how you get to find out what it'll do. Oops. Okay, I got to be sudo to run that script. Let's just go sudo bang bang. Give it my password. All right. Scroll up at the top here. Make that full screen if that make it easier. You can see how it's used right here, the usage. And if you give it a H flag, it'll print. And if you use the Z flag, which is what I like to use, you get color. Now you could use verbose mode as well. And then we got your commands. So let's just look at one. Let's see. We're not going to use. We're going to look in the AUR with the S flag right here to search. And I know the game is called Xmodo is in the AUR. So there it is. It looked in the AUR and it found it. And there's two, Xmodo and Xmodo-get. So if you wanted to install that here, you would change the flag to a capital I and press enter, and it'll install that. And you could do the Z, leave the color there if you want. That's just a preference of mine. I like it. It's really only one of three options that you have there. I just really love this. This is actually very nice. I'm not going to install anything. There's a menu editor called a la carte that I like, and it's available. It's right here, called main menu in your menu. I added these programs to it right here. It'll show it to me. Oh, there we go. Etcher, Image Writer, and Mate System Monitor. Okay, that's I mean, I'm gonna go back. Well, I'll have to readjust probably. I mean, you can look in the menu here and see that you've got a pretty good choice, especially considering how a while ago it was real bland. Wasn't much here. I did install card game, obviously, and SoundWorks. And there's other games. I just stopped there. I just been playing around in this a day or two, and so Critter was available. GIMP and Blender are all available. Firefox is available. I have not looked to see if Qubit Torrent is. Let's see. Sudo. No, we don't need. Pacman space hyphen capital SS. And you can see it is available in their repositories. Speaking of repositories, let's look in Etsy pacman.conf, and let's look and see that red warning there just means it's unwritable. I want to go down and look and see what mirrors they have. And I did add I did edit this right here a little. I want to see what extra repositories are available. OB core testing, that's not uncommented. We got OB core, OB extra, OB community, OB multi-lib, which is not uncommented, OB service, which is uncommented, testing, core, those are your typical default ones, extra, community, and I undid this multi-lib here to get out of here. So they do use their own repositories as well as the Arch Linux core, extra, community, service. All right, well, I guess that's going to do it for this video. ObarunOS. Man, I hear a lot of arguments one way and for the other for SystemD. Not liking it, liking it. The majority of people say, who cares? I fall in that majority. I don't care as long as my system works and does what I need it to do. I don't really care how it gets there as long as it's not telling everybody in the world what I'm doing. But if your thing is SystemD free and you don't want no SystemD, you don't want no SystemD, this would be a great one. I think this is probably the best of all the SystemD free Arch-based distributions that I've actually looked at. And I think I've looked at all of them. Okay, well, enough of me rambling. Give ObarunOS a shot. A shot. Give ObarunOS a shot. Put it on a VirtualBox if you want to. It works just fine. You might have to do something to get around that EFI thing. So, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you on another video. Bye.